Hey, thanks for stopping by. This is Leif. Alright. So, if you're watching this, you probably want to know how this clear coat carbon fiber material works. Let's get started. I guess perhaps we should start with the basics. This material is actually created by using two layered materials. We have our base carbon fiber material, and on top of that, we have our reflection material. And there's a reflection mask to control how that looks. Alright. To start off, we're going to take a look at the base material. I'm going to start previewing the node, and it should let us see our basic carbon fiber. Okay. Here is our carbon fiber material. For the base color, we use the standard value of black. As this carbon fiber material is really just made of the lighting information. Well, the specular information really makes it become the carbon fiber. For the normal, I just used the normal that I created in Substance Designer. I'll provide files of that if there's a demand for it. Pretty standard, it's just a weave texture with a little bit of anisotropic directional shading. The real magic comes in the roughness. Basically, we have our basic roughness material. As you can see here, it's got that basic directional roughness to it. The real magic is with this fancy shading magic to give us the illusion that the reflectivity changes based on its angle. It's very subtle, but you may or may not see something. Let's take a look here. Ah, there we go. As you can see here, the difference is quite significant. Based on the angle, it will display different directions. To do that, I used our vertex normal world space. Put through our reflection vector to get a reflection vector, and we use the camera vector. I got the dot product of that. I powered that by an exponent of 3, and then clamped that back to 1, from 0 to 1, to create a mask. For the other mask, we used a Fresnel. Did that to a power of 3, and clamped that from 0 to 1. As you've probably noticed, it doesn't appear to do too much on a spherical object. It's a fairly subtle effect and mostly visible on a more complex object, more complex shape, so to speak. So that's our carbon fiber sphere. And then the reflection is where the magic happens. To get things started, I used a custom reflection vector, and I plugged that into the UVs of two sphere capture actors that I've used. One of them is for the interior, and the other one is for the exterior. In case we have like carbon fiber details on the inside of the vehicle, you don't want to have the sky reflecting inside the car. Use a static switch parameter to control whether it's interior or exterior. I then desaturated the reflection by a factor of 0.1. And I multiplied that by the scalar value of reflection amount. This allows us to control how intense the reflection is. In addition, in our roughness, we have some grunge, fairly basic. I inverted the grunge. There's a contrast control and a grunge amount control, multiplying the grunge by a scalar parameter. For our reflection specular, we used a scalar parameter, and by default we set that to 1. In our normals, we have some slight waviness to maybe do something, I guess. If you look very carefully, you can see some minor details. Just a little normal math there. Now the real magic is with the reflection mask. Again, we used our reflection samples. We multiplied them by 4. Oh yeah, we took only the blue channel to get it black and white. And then we lerped that. As you can see, it's interesting. And then this is our final mask. As you can see, it's just a slight, very subtle mask. This controls how intense the mask is. Reflection amount multiplied by 0.05, and then multiplied by the reflection mask. And I use a standard layer blend, a matte layer blend standard, with the reflection being the top material, the carbon fiber being the base material, and this mask we just made as our alpha. And then it's plugged into this material attributes node. I hope you found that interesting, and if you'd like me to, if there's a demand for it, I'll share the shader network